Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn and I'm also known as the original runway diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Class is officially in session. My guest lecturer today is Yvette Hayward. Yvette is the president of Flowers and Hayward Publicity and Entertainment, Inc., which has been a powerful resource in the literary field for over 7 years. The company's primary mission is to bring recognition to African American authors throughout the country. She is also the creator of the African American Literary Awards Show, which she launched in 2004. Welcome to Model Behavior, Yvette Hayward. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome
How are you?
Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So let's just start right at the beginning. You have your own public relations company and you represent book authors.
Yes.
Tell me about how you got into that and what your company's about.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to start from the beginning.
Right.
Okay. So growing up, I wanted to be a secretary. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just, that was my dream. I wanted to be a secretary and go from a secretary to an administrative assistant to an executive assistant. And once I became an executive assistant, I would be on my way. And that's why it was going to stop, because I was going to be the gatekeeper to my boss's fabulous office, and that was it. So, you know, my mom at the time used to just tell me, get a city job, because they can't fire you.
That's what they all say.
So just get a city job. You just got to get a city job. So there was really no motivation, but I was on a mission. So I went to Norman Thomas High School, took up Secretarial Studies. Then I went to, at the time, Betty Owen Secretarial School.
Oh, wow.
I was serious. So I did that and graduated from there. And I got my first job as a secretary at a insurance company. And it was great. I was there. And then next, I got another job at a restaurant where I was going to be the administrative assistant. And I was like, oh, holy crap, I'm halfway there. This is great.
An administrative assistant for
a restaurant, yeah. It was a restaurant that was going to expand the restaurant and market the food product line.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so I was the administrative assistant to the oldest son that was there. And, you know, but while I was there, they kind of pushed me into public relations, and I realized that I liked it. You know, I didn't know that I would like it so much, and I did. So I kind of abandoned my dream of becoming this executive assistant. I was like, hey, I like this. So I started just, I didn't go to college for it. I just started reading up on books. I went to Barnes and Nobles, you know, staying in there, reading everything. And one book I read over and over, and I love her, is Terry Williams' book, The Personal Touch.
Yes, I have that book. Yeah.
And I learned so much from that, you know, and then I just kind of took a leap out on faith and started that way. So I decided I was going to start doing book signing events. So I didn't really know how to do it or anything, but was just like, well, you know, this is what I'm going to do. So the first person I called was Eric Jerome Dickey at the time had a book coming out. He was just coming out. It was called Sister, Sister. So I called his publicist, the publishing house's publicist. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she was like, oh, well, you know, he's no longer on tour, but he's said to let anyone know if they need to reach him, they can call him directly. So I called him directly. And he was like, oh, wow, great. And I was like, yes, you know, and I'll bring you out, you know, to New York for this. And he was like, oh, because he lived in California. He was like, oh, wow, okay, great. This is great. Now, I didn't know how I was going to bring this man out.
Oh, you was fronting.
Pretty much. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, I'm going to bring this man out. So, you know, I had a little bit of money saved, and I did. And I had him staying at the Hampton Inn. This was in like 1996, at the Hampton Inn. So when I finally went to go to greet him at the hotel, he opened up the door from the bed. That's how small the room was. So I was humiliated, embarrassed. I burst into tears. And he's like, no, it's fine because I like this. He was like, you brought me to New York. I've never been here. I'm great. This is fine. But I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Fast forward, he's my brother. He's my best friend now. And we're together. We're happy, as friends, and just, and then what he did was, it was a huge book signing event. It was Eric Jerome Dickey. It was Donna Grant and Virginia DeBerry.
You know I know them, right?
Yes, it was Deneen Milner.
Oh my.
I had like all these people. It was at a restaurant called Toon's Restaurant in the Village. And it was really nice. It was great. Eric went back to California. He started telling people, oh, if you need a good literary publicist, you should get Yvette Hayward, and started giving people my number. So now I just got so many authors calling me for stuff, and I met so many. And now a lot of them have become like my family. Like Lolita Fowles is my sister. There's Victoria Christopher Murray and Shonda Tate Billingsley, who I love them both. They're such big supporters. They're like my family. And, I do publicity for them when they need it as well. So we've just become like this whole big, great family. And Omar Tyree.
I got to ask you a question, though.
Yes.
Because I think I missed the segue. Because you said you were doing executive assisting at the restaurant.
Yes.
And then you started doing PR for them?
They pushed me into it. It was like there were times when the owner of the restaurant could not make it to an event and stuff, and I would be asked to go and speak on her behalf. I wrote bios. So I did like a lot of PR things, not a whole bunch, but just some PR things there. So I was kind of learning as I went along. So I credit them for just kind of helping me to realize that I love publicity and this is what I want to do.
Right. My question is, when you decided, okay, I don't think I need to be an executive assistant, maybe I should do this PR thing. How did you know to focus in on books and authors, or was that just something you liked?
It was something that I liked because I was a lover of books. I was a lover of literary, so I wanted to start there. I didn't want to go into music or anything. I kind of wanted to go into a place where I felt that I would be needed, for African American authors who are not getting that shine. That's not getting the recognition. So that's where I want to do my start there.
So, okay, now, how do you select, or you called Eric Jerome Dickey, you have them come and do your event. Is that how you find the people that you're going to represent, or do they find you now?
Now I get people that find me, and now I'm kind of more selective, and it's only because I don't necessarily have the time as much as I did, because I'm dealing with the award show and just a whole bunch of other stuff.
We're going to get to the award show in a moment.
Okay.
But how do you, what are you looking for when selecting people that you want to represent? Is there something you're looking for in particular?
Basically, I'm looking for someone that has that dynamic story, that has that story that people are going to want to come and buy their book. They want to come to the book signing event. Because anyone can come to me and say, oh, I want to write a book and this is what I want to write about, or send it to you. And it's like kind of like the same story. So you kind of want something that's different. So when they're, like if I'm trying to sell something to you and to tell you, oh, well, this guy's book is awesome and let me tell you what it's about. And it could be something that you've already heard. Mm-hmm. And because I'm in this industry, I kind of know what's already been done, that's already been said, so it's like me trying to guide them and let them know that I understand that, you want publicity for this, but it's actually not going to work, and this is why, so.
Do they take that well, or?
Some do, some don't. And then back when Oprah Winfrey was on TV, a lot of them would come to me and just say, well, hey, I want to be on Oprah. I think that, my book is great, and I want to be on Oprah.
And they expected you to get them on Oprah?
Right, and you would have to go and talk to them and let them know, like, this is not the right genre for Oprah. Like, she's not even gonna look at this. Like, you splitting verbs and all. This is just not.
Oh, okay.
It's not gonna work.
Since you brought that up, okay, so I see, I'm an avid reader, mm-hmm. and all the story has to do is be interesting to me. If I don't want to put it down, right. It doesn't really matter what the topic is. It means it's well written for me. However, I've read quite a few street lit. Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Urban fiction.
Urban fiction.
Yes.
The typos, the spelling errors. And there's one, I'm not even gonna say it annoys me when there's 3 or 4 different fonts throughout the book. I don't really understand that, and I'm just like, okay, this is a little distracting. But misspelled words drive me crazy. You see that a lot?
I do.
Particularly with the urban.
Some with urban, some with not. You know, and a lot of it, unfortunately, a lot of it comes from self-published authors, and I'm not all, but I'm saying that does not take the time to really get the book edited correctly. You know, I mean, because an editor can find all of that, can solve all those problems, but they feel they can cut corners, and they can be the editor, and they can do this, and they can do that, and then you put in the book out, and like you said, you might have 3 or 4 different fonts, or you see a bunch of misspelled words, you know, or just sometimes no words on the page.
Sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so it's unfortunate because if you're going to be a serious author, you can't cut corners. Like, you really have to do it.
What are the things that they need? All right, they need an editor.
Well, the editor is number one. I mean, you need a great, if you're going to self-publish, you need a great graphic artist to do your cover, because the cover is the most important, because that's what draws people in, is when they see, I know for me, if I'm passing a book and that cover is just like, it stops me in my tracks, and I'm just like, whoa, what is this book about? And then I pick it up. So your cover has to be most important. It can't just be something that's just ordinary, you know, or just like a blank page, or just a white page with just letter. It has to draw you in. And if it doesn't draw you in, it's just not going to work. But I'll say one of the main thing is get an editor, and get a good editor. And if your cousin is an editor, then make sure that your cousin is an excellent editor. And if it's not, then spend a little bit more extra money so that you can get that editor, because that's the key to everything, because they could put it in book form, and then everything else will fall into place.
Now, when you say they can put it in book form, what do you mean?
I mean, so where it's ready to where if you want to print it out, it's in book form to where it can be printed out as a book.
Oh, okay.
So then when you get it, you won't see those 3 and 4 different fonts. You won't see those missed words.
Typos and the big run-on sentence. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for stuff like that. I was an English major, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, because everyone wants to be an author, but not everyone perfects that craft and makes sure that they are definitely getting an editor to really do it, because they feel that they can do it themselves, and sometimes you can't.
But technically, anybody can be an author if you self-publish a book.
Anybody
Technically,
can.
you're an author.
Well, yeah, you are, but you may not be a good one, because you just might be.
Bought your book.
Exactly.
Are you really? Because nobody's reading it. Okay.
No one's reading it because, you know, it's bleeding on the pages. It's just, it's so much stuff. So you can definitely be an author, but, you know, you want to be a good author and have longevity in the literary world.
Okay, now before we get to the awards, because I'm not going to forget that.
Okay.
All right, so say you're that self-published author who, you don't have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You can get the editor. So how do you market your book if, like, somebody big doesn't pick it up? So then you have to go to book fairs, and
you have to get on your grind.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to do that street marketing, and, you know, you have to make sure that whatever you hear, a literary festival, a book signing event, you know, a book expo, you go to those things. You find out where things are. You go on the street. You go on 125th Street like the regular, book vendors do, and you start peddling your book. I mean, you go wherever's needed. I mean, you know, we had Elin Harris, who, you know, totally loved him. He was. I mean, but in the beginning, he would fly one way and have his books in the trunk of a car, and just, you know, for whatever book signing that was there, and signing his books, and then as he's making that money, then he made enough to fly back home to where he was. I mean, but you just have to really be on your grind if this is what you're going to do. Get your church members to do book signing events for you, get your friends to do book signing events, your co-workers, whatever you have to do to get that book out there. You just got to be on your grind, and you got to be on your grind hard. I mean, there's authors now that are, you know, that are just out there that made it. And they're still hustling. They're still grinding. It's like the grind never stops. You just have to continue with it. You can't get comfortable.
Okay. And okay, my other question just left my head. I already said for me the mark of a good author or storyteller is the fact that I don't want to put the book down. Is it the same thing for you?
It is. And, you know, but here's the funny thing. It's like now I have all these books, but for me, and a lot of times with my author friends, they'll send me the book, you know, oh, Yvette, I got this book for you to read. And I'm just like, you know what, just send me the manuscript online. And for me, I can finish your book in like 3 to 4 hours. When you send it to me online, I'm visualizing the characters, I'm all in it. And in 4 hours, I could literally tell you, oh my God, it was so great. It was this, that, and I'm just retarded like that. But if you give me a book, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta turn the pages and stuff.
That's my favorite part.
It takes me
right here?
It takes me forever.
Oh no.
So it's like, I love the book, so I get the book, and you know, and I put it up on my shelf, but you know, I'm turning pages and stuff. I'm just like, oh, why didn't he just send it to me online?
I do not like reading on a reader or on a tablet, a computer.
I love it.
Give me the book so I can put it up here and get lost.
They email me the manuscript, you know, and another thing that I love getting it before anybody else can read it. So, and then I'll just sit there and take that time. 3 to 4 hours, I am done. I had one author, Victoria Christopher Murray, and she was like, give me, I said, send it to me online so I can read it. And so I finished it in maybe like 3 hours, and I called her, and I was just like, oh my God, Victoria, it was so great. Da, da, da. And so she called up to another friend, was like, you know, Yvette just lied to me and told me she read my book, and I know she didn't read my book in 3 hours. And my other girlfriend had to tell her, no, Yvette's retarded like that. She did read your book. Ask her to tell you about the characters. And so I started telling her about the characters. She was like, oh my God, Yvette, I thought you were lying. And I was like, no. So now she's like, I'm sending you another book. I'm sending you this. So yeah, so I love to get it ahead of time, and I just read it online.
What's your favorite book?
Oh God, it's so many. Oh my God. What is my favorite book? I will say Lolita Fowles, Child of God, Victoria Christopher Murray. Oh my God, what? She's gonna kill me. It's with the devil. It's escaping me. It's escaping me. But that book is awesome.
It's about the devil?
No. It is, but it's not. And she's going to kill me.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank, but also Stand Your Ground. Her book is also really, really good. I love all of Eric Jerome Dickey's books. I love all of them. Toni Morrison's books. It's just so many.
The one that popped in my head.
The Deal to Dance the Devil. Victoria Christopher Murray. The Deal to Dance the Devil. Yes.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh,
I'll have to go look that one up.
Please look it up.
Elin Harris's first book, Invisible Life.
I read both.
That was my life. That was my life.
That was everyone's life.
Oh my God.
He started naming places.
Like, wait a minute. I was there.
I was like, oh my God, he named all the different fields.
Yes.
I read that and the second book in a day and a half.
Oh, his books, as soon as they came out, I would inhale them.
Oh my God.
So let's fast forward to the the African American Literary Awards.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that somebody is doing it. I'm glad it's you, but I went the first time I met you, and I had a wonderful time. And I'm a book whore. I don't know if I should say that,
You
but
can say it.
Man, Black authors, I love Black authors, and to see them get their due, that's
just a
wonderful.
beautiful
How did you come up with that idea? And I know that you started you had the idea in like '96.
Yeah, I did, and I was actually 97, I think. I was actually on Fifth Avenue with Eric Jerome Dickey, Victoria Christopher Murray, Lolita Fowles, and one other person. And I was talking their ear off, and I was just like, oh my God, there's all these music award shows out with the same format. There's 50 million of them. Why can't there be an award show for African American authors? And I was saying that because I would be with them when they would go through writer's block, when they had deadlines and all this stuff. So I saw the blood, sweat, and tears being poured in. But, they're not really receiving any love, from the publishing houses and stuff. So I saw all of that. So I kept saying, I think this is something we should do. I think this is something that should happen. And I just kept talking until finally it was like, Yvette, all right, well, then do it. You keep talking to us about it, then just do it. So I was finally able to bring it to fruition in 2004. And with a friend of mine who at first he introduced me to someone, Steven Jackson. He introduced me to someone, and we decided that we were going to go and do the award show and make it happen. And it was great because at first I had a partner, and it was great. You know, we did the first year, and then the second year we were going to do it in September, but then Hurricane Katrina happened.
Okay.
And I didn't feel right about doing it, so we did it the next year, and it was great. And then, you know, by the third year, my partner and I were just kind of parted ways. You know, she had a vision of what she was doing, and I had my vision of what I was doing. So I just continued with it, and you know, it's been great ever since. And you know, the literary world has just embraced me. You know, and they've been supporting me, and now this is going on 14 years of just being here and doing it. You know, and just. They've been my cheerleaders, rallying me on, you know, and it's been a lot of challenges and crazy because I'm basically a one-woman show, and it's just been.
What sort of challenges are?
I mean, well,
besides the obvious.
Well, you know, sponsorship, basically, you know, I mean, because it's basically me funding it out of my pocket, and I'm not a rich woman, you know, but. In the beginning, I would get some sponsorship, not all. People are like, oh, well, you know, the publishing houses, they should be the first one sponsoring. And I'm like, no, it
don't work like that.
It doesn't happen like that. So, yeah, so it's basically still me funding it myself. Like last year, it was all me.
Well, you got all these author friends that.
Yeah, I do, you know, and they try and help out as much as they can, you know, and buying tickets and stuff, and just like trying to rally around me and helping, like, oh, well, maybe we can get this person and that. So, and I appreciate them for that too, but it's been hard, you know, and it's also, you know, you forget a lot of things, you know, that you have to get done because it's only you doing it. So, you know, so then you have the ones that are not, that won an award but are not there, and then you gotta make sure that that gets sent out, you know, and I don't have an assistant or anything, so it's just me.
Maybe you need a little intern that has
do.
the same drive that you have.
I do, actually I do, because it's a lot, and making sure that you get it out, because then I have all this other stuff on me that I'm doing, so it gets really crazy. So that's what I mean by the challenges, but the biggest challenge is sponsorship. And I've been in this game 14 years, and still not really getting sponsorship, the sponsorship that I should be getting. What it is, I don't know.
I was about to say, why do you think that is?
I don't know, you know, and I've had people do sponsorship for me that I've paid, and, you know, and some have tried, you know, I mean, I have one woman that was just excellent. She was really good, but for some reason just couldn't connect, and we really didn't get too much. We got some, but not all. And then, you know, then there's others that you paid, and they just didn't do too much. They really didn't do too much.
You ain't getting no money from me until you deliver.
Well, I was paying.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I'm just like, okay. So then I decided, well, Yvette, you know, I'm just going to continue and just do it my way of doing it. And if I don't get sponsorship, then I know that I'm coming out of my pocket. But this year, I have someone that is doing sponsorship for me, and that's really good. So I'm prayerful that we'll get some stuff.
Now, you know, there's the myth that black people don't like to read. Do you think? Well, you and I know that's not true.
And you've been to my award show.
That's not true.
Black people love to read.
Yeah,
they love it.
I want to get to work on these the younger generation, because my people, the millennials, I see it for myself. I mention reading to them, and they like,
yeah,
like that's where the knowledge is, though. You're not gonna find it on TV. You got to read a book.
I agree.
So I support you wholeheartedly, and I got my fingers crossed for you that you're gonna get the stuff that you need. Because
thank you.
Reading is fundamental. I know that's corny, but it's true.
It is, and for this year, I'm focusing on a lot of the younger generation as well.
How
you
so?
know, I mean, well, you know, we have a category for young adult children's author, but now I want to kind of bring them in, you know, have them come to the award show, you know, maybe do some workshops like the day of with some young authors and stuff, and having them come out. So I'm really trying to get that done.
So like writing workshops?
Yeah, and one little girl who I'm trying to get, and I'm hoping that I can get, because I feel like I'm being blocked by her publicist, because she really doesn't understand like what the award show is. Because sometimes if people haven't heard of the award show, you know, something they won't even tell their client, because they'll just pass it off as, oh, we don't know what that is, so it's nothing. And her name is Molly Diaz, and I
just saw her on the news. That girl is brilliant.
I'm trying to get her, and I don't know what to do because her publicist is like blocking me. And I'm really thinking that she doesn't know about it. I don't think her mother
because
knows
this is
about
right
it.
up her alley.
And I want to honor her this year. So this is what I've been wanting to honor her since last year. And
we got to find her mama.
You know, and her mom, I think it's at John Jay College. So I'm like, okay, well, one day I'm just gonna have to stop
Right
up in
across the
there.
street.
Yeah, and just go in there and just maybe just wait for her to come out or something.
I was
but
so
I
impressed
really
with that little girl the other morning I saw on the Sunday morning, the CBS Morning News. My God.
She's great. And I really, really want her. So I'm trying to see what I can do to bypass the publicist and get to her mama.
Brilliant.
And
Yeah. That girl, I was so impressed. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, I know. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh my God. And so I really want to be able to get her this year. And if I have to stalk her mama, then.
Hey, let's do what we got to do.
I don't have to do that.
Because she can change things. She'll change things for you just in her presence and the stuff that comes out of her mouth.
I'm just in awe of this little girl. I'm just like, oh my God. She's just beautiful. Her mind, everything.
Absolutely.
And so I totally want her. So.
All right, so we got about 3 minutes left. So I want you to tell me, one, how people can find you.
They can email me, which is Yvette@literaryawardsshow.com. Or they can go to my website, which is www.literaryawardshow.com.
Okay. And what's coming up next for you?
Well, next for me is on.
Now, you know what I want to ask you before we go? How do you select the award winners, the nominees and the winners? How do you do
the nomination process starts in May, and I send out an email blast. I put it on Facebook, and I send to everyone what the criteria is. It has to be published within a calendar year. So for this year, it would be from July 2017 to June 2018. So it would be just that. So I send out so look for it in May of this year for me to do another nominations announcement. And it goes from May until the end of June. In July, we do the nominations announcement, so you know who the nominees are. August, we do the
So people
voting.
select and they
Right.
We are just about out of time, so I'd like to thank my guest, Yvette Hayward, for sharing her industry knowledge with us today. Now, before I go, I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. I want you to, one, remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. Always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. Do what you love and love what you do. And lastly, be who you are, but be who you are tastefully. Always have a little class about yourself. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for watching Model Behavior, and I'll see you guys next week. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all.